in all seriousness, you guys have an incredible product. And it's driven from the right places, right? You're focused on making these affiliates continue to be able to do what they want to do, and that's support, transform lives, and we couldn't be happier to partner with you guys.
Welcome back. Best hour of their day. Two bigwigs. Two of the biggest, baddest people in CrossFit HQ. Gary Gaines, Austin Malleolo. Welcome back.
Glad to be back, Jason. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk all things. You don't seem excited to be on here, if I'm being honest, Austin. I feel like
it's your presence. It brings me back to the Albany parking lot days. So it's an emotional roller coaster with you, Jason.
It is. It really is. And
the only thing that brings Austin excitement is a barbell and a clock these days.
That's right. That's right. And a scale so we can weigh and measure food. Other than that, we're good to go.
Hey, you gotta live the methodology, right?
That's right.
So
that's right.
Let's dive into it. We got so much going on in the CrossFit world. Some great stuff just happened. Some great stuff's coming up before the end of the year. And there aren't two better people to talk about what's going on for affiliates than you two. Gary, I saw you and Dave and Don were road tripping. Did you go like old school, like hostel style? And you were just crashing at hostel?
I don't know if it was old school, because from what I hear, the travel accommodations were pretty nice back in the day when Dave would travel abroad. So I think that threw him off a bit, because we're trying to be fiscally responsible. But road tripping is a good description. We hit the ground in Rio, and we flew to two other cities in Brazil. So it was 3-hour flights in between each one, and then we had an 8.5-hour flight from Fortaleza to Ecuador, which was interesting, because the plane felt like it was built for smaller people, and so it was
Austin
tough.
And I would have been fine.
That's right. You guys would have been fine.
We would have been living large.
For me, it was tough. It was tough going, but we made it.
Gary, you traveled around Brazil, and then you immediately came back. You were deadly ill and had to have shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
So was this a reflection on the trip to Brazil, or was this just all those years of hard living?
I'll tell you, it was the positive part was how the community kind of gave us energy and a lot of optimism for the future, particularly in our markets outside of the United States. But they put us to work. Typically people program some tough workouts when HQ is coming through to kind of show us what's up on the ground. And that was certainly the case in Brazil. And, Sean Rocket, who is the head of the CrossFit Games medical team, actually did my surgery and was a little blown back because what was inside my shoulder did not reflect the MRI that he took before me going. So, yeah.
It was worse.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So
321 MD, is that what he goes by, Sean?
Yeah, 321 MD, and I keep calling him every day, asking him if I can sweat, and he keeps quickly saying no. So it's this one's going to be a slow process.
When you guys show up, and it was you, Dave, and Don, right?
It was myself, Dave, and Don, and Daniel Chaffee, and then Ricardo Prudente, who is the country manager overseeing South America.
Daniel Chaffee is probably very hard to keep up with when you're traveling internationally.
He's not. He puts this face on that he's some travel savant, but he gets tired. But in all seriousness, Daniel, jet sets around the world and does really, really good work and supports our affiliates. And so it was great to spend time with him.
When you show up at an affiliate, be it in the States or Brazil, what are you more excited about? Do you get excited when they're like, hey, we got these workouts that are going to demolish you? Or do you get excited when you show up and it's like, hey, we're doing one workout but we're going to coach you for the duration of the class.
Yeah, it depends on market. Typically, in Austin can reinforce, but typically when you're in the United States, the conversation, I would say the atmosphere is much different than it is outside of the United States, and there's a lot of reasons why: maturation of the market, saturation, the brand. Our involvement and presence in the United States has been felt much greater over the previous years. When we're in markets outside of the country, the level of excitement is incredible, and all they want to do is hear what's happening at HQ. And what that means at the local level. I think we in the past have really neglected to localize a lot of the initiatives that we've done, not because we didn't think it was important, but because the resources needed are significant, and we're trying to make a major focus on supporting those markets and what it means to be a business in those communities versus applying blanket principles on initiatives and resources and having them take what the United States uses and try and apply it to their business. So that was kind of the theme this year, is like, listen, tell us what you need, and we'll take it back and try and understand the resources needed and get back to you on what we can prioritize and roll out in the market.
I love that.
It all starts with a workout, though, and their inspiration for getting us to sweat is like, we're gonna grind these guys down, and then we're gonna throw a ton of stuff at them and see if they buckle and commit. But we're getting smarter. So
if there was a running competition amongst the three of you while you were in Brazil, who's on top of the podium? You, Don, or Dave? I'm going to throw my guess out there.
Okay,
and then you. I think you'll be on the top, Gary. I think you are in first. You got the gold. I'm going to give Don silver and Dave third. Am I close?
Don's got a motor. I will tell you, and he's extremely competitive. Which is really cool to see. We had a workout, and we were competing against each other. He chose to do the assault bike. I chose to row, and he came off the bike quicker. But the cal counts were the same, and I protested that the cal counts should not have been the same. But that said, he's got a motor, man. The guy goes, and he can. He's talking about in CrossFit, it's not easy, and breaking through that dark place is what makes you better. And he lives in that place and can break through, which is really cool to see. I think your assessment on Dave is the right one, but I think he would choose to be third. I don't think it's because his unwillingness to give it everything he's got. Guy's been doing it for quite some time, and he's at a stage in his life where he wants to wake up and not feel it. And so I think Dave would be okay taking third. We did, however, shoot. Yeah. And Dave definitely took the top spot there.
Well, yeah, I mean, watching Dave, he's kind of doing the old man CrossFit these days.
That's right.
Yeah. Which is good. Hey, old man CrossFit is better than no CrossFit. Yeah. I do have a very specific question to ask about Brazil, but Austin, we did, Fern was in town this week. We're filming some content. We dropped into some affiliates, and two of the three affiliates had CAP programming. Okay. And so if you remember this week, one of the workouts was Mary.
Oh, yeah. That was Monday. Yep.
Yeah. So I think we wound up doing it Tuesday, and today's Friday as we're recording, and I'm almost not getting more sore, right? Like, I'm feeling like it's getting more and more sore. And Fern and I were talking, and I was like, this is one of those workouts when programmed 15, 20 years ago, that Glassman had no idea what fitness would look like, and now people can just demolish themselves, myself included. I mean, that wasn't my best performance ever, but I can still continue to do 5 handstand push-ups and go unbroken on 15. So, you do 180 or so pull-ups, and all of a sudden you're like, I shouldn't have done that, but I can.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that is that a fair assessment of Mary?
Yeah. I mean, when I see that workout, I'm like, well, If I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that with strict pull-ups, so I slow down considerably and do not get over 100. Right. So yeah, and it's funny because I had that conversation this week with my buddy Paul about Mary. We're like, we're not going to, if we do that, we're going to change the pull-up variation to lower the volume, because to that point, if you have proficient butterfly pull-ups, you're going to get 150 plus reps, and yeah, moving your arms will be a challenge. I think, it's also, traditionally we've always seen Cindy or Mary, right? You see that presented on main site historically. I would say 90% of people pick Cindy, right? Because they see Mary, they're like, no.
I mean, I'd look at Mary and be like, okay.
Right.
People have to be able to do a pistol in order to.
Well, yeah. There's two variables there. It's like I got to be able to do a handstand push-up into a pistol, and then I can do that stuff, but I don't want to do that stuff, right? So it's that is a workout where if you have proficiency, that's a great day to throw in 15 strict pull-ups. It slows the volume down considerably, and you're not going to get worse off by it. So that, I think that tweak is probably appropriate for someone like yourself, who's, probably a self-proclaimed bodyweight ninja, because you weigh 110 pounds, right?
Pushing 160 these days. Pushing 160. I wish I reached out to you ahead of time, because I can almost extend my arms today. But I did strict handstand push-ups for that reason. I was like, I'll go strict. Mostly, like, I think as you get older, you realize strict, you don't rest on the top of your head quite as long. So, when I joke about old man CrossFit, I'm doing it as well. But when I say old man CrossFit, it's just like, hey, we're older. I want to be able to do this thing for the next 40 years. So what can I do to be a little bit smarter about it? But I'll tell you, taking Mary, we were at a box called CrossFit ELM in Thornton, Colorado. And man, they coached the hell out of that class. And it was really awesome to experience. I was telling her name was Marka, the coach, like, oh, you got us really warm for pistols. And I kept thinking, okay, you're going to say go. And then you got me really warm for handstand push-ups, and I figured you'd say go. But then you got us warm for pull-ups also. It's like, wow, you got me so warm. Now I feel so good that I'm going to hurt myself, right? Like you did the opposite effect there, but it was awesome. Gary, tell me about that dude in the wheelchair in Brazil that you were posting with, doing bar muscle-ups and like weighted bar muscle-ups. That dude was ridiculous. What was his story?
His name's BL, and it was a partner WOD, and I was talking to Ricardinho before we had gotten to the box, and I was like, Ricardinho does this. He's really focused on making sure that we partner with locals, right, versus going to your comfort zone and grabbing the people that you grind with every single day, and it's a really good way to build community and get them some quality FaceTime. And so I was talking to him about who he thought I was going to partner with, and he's like, it's a surprise. And I was like, okay. I'm looking at him, I'm like, I'm hurt, but I'm not that hurt. I was like, I can do DT, like, I can't jerk, but like we can modify, but I can still do it with somebody. And he's like, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. So we show up at the gym, and I walk in, and Jason, the energy in there was like insane. Probably
which affiliate was this? Which one was
50 to 60, 50 to 60 affiliate owners, and really, really nice gym. And so we got in there, and I start to try and figure out who my partner is, and Ricardinho then brings over BL, and I looked at him and I was like, I'm screwed. I was like, this guy is jacked. And so I start talking to him, there was a translator, and I could just feel, you feel somebody's energy, and you're like, this person's super positive. And
you can feel it even in your post.
Man, and so I start talking to him, and he tells me his story. And, 3 years prior, he was sitting on a porch with his friend, and they were talking about what they were going to do over the weekend. And they see this car loop around a couple times, and they think it's an Uber driver, trying to figure out an address or something like that, or delivery. And all of a sudden the window goes down, and shots are fired. And he gets shot, I think 3 or 4 times, and is rushed to the hospital. and has immediate surgery and is paralyzed from the waist down. But that night, the police officers brought the shooter, and the shooter saw the person that he had hit, it was BL, and instantly knew that it was the wrong person. And he had said that as much when they were engaging, and he forgave him on the spot. BL forgave him on the spot, and made a commitment to sharing his story about forgiveness, faith, perseverance, and that was manifested in that workout, man. We did DT with 20 chest to bar pull-ups after each round, and so 10 rounds of DT, 5 each, 20 rounds of chest to bar pull-ups, or 20 reps of chest to bar pull-ups after each round. And he did strict. He did deadlift with dumbbells and strict press, and then ripped out 10 chest to bar pull-ups every single set. I've never seen anything like it. And to be honest with you, when you start going to a place where you start feeling sorry for yourself and you have that motivation next to you, you quickly shake out of it.
That's what I was
thinking.
It's like not so much these jack, like your shoulder's hurting. Okay, this guy's in a wheelchair.
It was unbelievable. And so, yeah, his story is inspiring. And what he did that day is something I'll never forget.
He was doing bar muscle ups in that wheelchair also, if I remember, right? Did you post that?
So Dave and I, we were looking at him, and Dave is like, I wonder if he could do bar muscle ups. And I was like, he absolutely can. And so Dave asked him to do bar muscle ups, and he did 3 like it was nothing. Look, he looked like Sam Briggs.
It's wild.
Just
how heavy? I mean, I'm assuming a wheelchair's got to be what, 30 pounds?
Oh man, I think maybe more. I mean, that thing was heavy duty. That was maybe 30 to 50 pounds at least.
Was what's his name? BL?
BL, yeah.
BL, was he doing CrossFit prior to his injury?
He was not. So he found CrossFit after. After. And the community that he belongs to the gym. And the name is escaping me right now, but just an incredible community, and you could tell that he's embraced, and they love him. So it was really, really cool to see.
Awesome.
Don's partner. To my point earlier, Don's partner was going unbroken with 155. And Don wouldn't, lower the weight. So Don, at the end of the workout, Don was like, man, that was intense. But you got to admire the guy, man. He went after it and put on a good show.
Don was here in Boulder. This is probably like 2 months ago, and we did a take on DT as well. Pretty sure he scaled to 135.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, there was no scaling at this time.
DT
go ahead.
Yeah, DT. Well, DT is a workout where like it's so sneaky because you see it, you're like, oh, like I can do, it's a light deadlift. I can hang. It's only 9 hang power cleans, 6 push jerks, but it seems spicy, but I can do it. You get through with 1 round, and I don't care what weight you pick. You're like, that was a mistake, right? Like whether you go prescribed or you go 95 pounds, you never feel good doing that complex after 1 round.
Yeah. That's the classic, like the lighter you go, the harder this workout. Like when I do it at 155, it's like I'm going to break here, I'm going to break here, I'm going to break. So Austin, you're still a high level athlete. What weight would it take for you to go unbroken on 5 rounds? Like no bar going down, not once. What weight would it have to be? Day? I think back in the day, you were so crazy, I think you could have went higher than 155.
You mean back in the day when he's wearing full compression?
I mean, iced out compression. Yeah, I mean, that's a non-negotiable. An iced out compression, handful of cashews coming in hot. I think you could have went 185 unbroken for 5 rounds. I would say for me, it would literally have to be like 55 pounds. Like by round 4, your shoulders are just smoked. Like, there's no way. Can you do it at 135, you think, right now?
I mean, listen, a barbell complex is a very unique style of fitness.
Which you happen to be good at.
Yes, but that's the thing that, I would say that when you kind of phase out of competition being a focus, you don't cycle a barbell near as much as you do when you're trying to compete, because it just, it takes a little toll on the body. Certainly cycling in that. But I do remember in 2000, I think it was 10 or 11, it was like the Beast of the East throwdown.
Oh, yeah. Remember Merle McKenzie?
That's right. That's right. And we did DT and Dave Lipson, Daniel Tominski, myself. And I just remember, I think Dave did it unbroken at 155 then. We were in like a warehouse behind CrossFit New England as well.
Yeah.
And it was literally like a woodshed. And I just remember he did it in like 3.5 minutes. Like he did DT fully unbroken, and he was so much bigger and stronger than all of us at that time, right? He was like and we were children. He was like an ogre, right? And I'll never forget that. Of like, I was like, man.
Were you at the games the years that there was a vote? So yes, you did the double. One year they did double. That was the year they voted, right?
I did the heavy. So I was the year before the vote when Dave programmed heavy DT at 205.
At 180, at 205.
Yeah, that was a very low moment for me, Jason, in my athletic career. So I appreciate you for bringing that up.
Why was that? You did poorly? I don't remember. Did you not do well on that?
Well, that was the year that we also had Murph.
You had fast. I remember it. You were smashed at.
I had Rabbit.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I was pretty banged up, and it was the same day. Okay, so we did Murph, then we did the snatch ladder. I didn't even.
That's like wow.
It was the day, and I didn't even clear the first rung of the snatch ladder. I think I finished dead last. It was like a nice humiliating moment. I couldn't. I just remember like the first bar was like 185, and then I was like, it felt like 300 pounds, right? Like I was like, this felt like a 1 rep max. Like this is gonna be a bad day. And then they announced, and it was the unknown event, and they announced the 205 DT, and I just remember, I'll never forget it. We're doing the workout. Nicole Gordon's my judge. She's amazing. Love her.
Yep.
And I'm going through. I'm like failing. I'm failing a rep, like a hang clean. It's like I don't make it, right? And she's doing the whole like no rep. I'm thinking to myself, I know.
I got it. You know? Yeah.
It
is. It's so funny when we're judging. I'm like, do I really have to make it was a clear miss. Like, do we have to go through this? I guess the only benefit to that is you probably weren't fully sore yet from Murph.
I was like, there was.
Oh, you got rhabdo, didn't you?
Yeah.
But I mean, imagine like doing Murph and having rhabdo, and then the next day the cleans of just, especially hang cleans, where you're like purposely keeping those elbows bent. Like, oh man, that's probably a programming error on Dave's part. At the time.
I don't think it was an error.
No, I think that's the stimulus he's looking for is how to buckle Austin.
Right. It was just, I would say that, it was an Austin error for just, maybe going a little too, and I'll never forget Ben Smith had an interview after, and he's like, I purposefully didn't go that hard on the pull-up, so I wasn't banged up for the rest of the weekend. I was like,
what'd you finish Murph in?
I finished I think third or fourth overall. I don't remember the time. I just remember
that was an unbroken Murph or in the 20, 40, 60.
This was 100, 200, 300.
Yeah, standard.
So that was unpartitioned Murph that year.
Weighted, obviously.
Yep, weighted.
Listen, that's a cool story you could tell though. Right? Nobody's gonna remember heavy DT. Everybody remembers Murph.
And that was the year, and that was the year, like, people were, like, coming in the stadium and just, like, passing out. Like, it was survival of the fittest, literally, for some.
That was the year Cara came back and, like, had heat stroke.
It was hot,
On that subject, two things happened this week that I think are important to talk about from the game's perspective. I saw Ben Smith still pulling PRs on that deadlift. Did you see that? He pulled like 565.
565.
We were in Virginia. Yeah, we were in Virginia less than 2 months ago, and he literally could barely stand up. His back was so jacked up. Like he couldn't work out with us. He was so, but it's pretty awesome. I mean, he's younger still, not like younger than Austin, that is, because he's been competing so long. And then the other thing is your good friend announced his retirement.
Oh, yeah, like the
Well, it's
official
retirement
announcement.
from teams, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we're all
yeah.
assuming he's going to come back to Masters. How, do you guys all kind of talk a lot? Like, you guys are almost like the old guard of the competitive, athletes. Like, I think there's like an old guard that not that no one remembers. That's not fair, but like pre like social media, pre the
Yeah,
live events.
it's like before like written history, right? It's kind of
It's
like
like it's like Hoist Gracie, and then no one remembers anybody else from MMA, right? But then there was like Liddell and
right.
Couture and Tito, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's who you guys are. What's that feeling and sentiment amongst you guys?
I mean, I think the sentiment is that we're just old, like it's and like and also like it and to your point, it's less old. It's also like life is different. Like everyone's got families and kids. Bodies are a little banged up. Priorities are just different. And I think that you see it from Scott Panchik. You see it with Rich. You see it with Ben. Training still happens, right? Like there's still everyone's work like, and it will always be a part of the lifestyle, but the focus shifts. But I do think what you see is unique, and I think Scott's another good example of still unbelievably viable competitor. Ben, I mean, unbelievably viable competitor. Rich will always be in that sense too. But what's nice is that it's a lot of the self-imposed stress of I have to get a second or third session in, as opposed to I got my workout in and I can go play with my kids or pick my kids up or whatever it might be. Where when your focus is competing, it's not even a question. Everything else takes a second seat to that. And so I think that's the sentiment, certainly among those that are have different priorities in life. But it's and it takes a while. Like it takes a while to shift. And what does that get replaced with? I think that and I'll just use Rich as an example. Like Rich has built a wonderful empire around himself. Which is really cool. A lot of impact. He's got athletes. He's got his farm. He's got his gym. That's something he can then focus on, right? And same thing with Ben. You see Ben building a lot of stuff around him with his gym. You were there recently, so you know it. So I think, and that's what I love about the CrossFit ecosystem as a whole, is that you're seeing athletes that came into the space as athletes or young, and now they're shifting they have professions, jobs, or entrepreneurs around themselves, and you take Rich, you take Ben, you take Scott Panchik as an example. Like they're affiliate owners, they're athletes, they have families, and they've built other things off of the CrossFit community, and that's what they're all in on. And that to me is, and same thing with myself, built that around, starting as an athlete and then building other things around it. And that to me is, you don't really see that in a lot of other, sports that is so like this, and certainly other gym industries, right? When you look at, other gyms, it's a gym. There's nothing else beyond, it's transactional, right? Where like, this is literally life changing to the point of, yeah, I'm no longer going to be on TV competing, but I'm going to have possibly for some of them the same amount of impact that they had as an athlete. So, just in my thought,
more
also
impact,
a wider reach.
really. Yeah,
Exactly.
like you said, a wider, like Rich's reach. I think for most of these guys that you've mentioned, their athletic career allowed them to do what they're doing now. But I mean, Rich's reach, Ben Smith's as well, yours, involved in CrossFit, like cool. Like I loved watching Austin compete. Like that was great and it was inspiring and all that. But like what you're doing now is so much more valuable for the CrossFit world and CrossFit community. And by the way, don't sell yourself short. I know you still got it. I know you hit those 5 a.m. sessions. Who you hit them with these days? Paul, and is Pete Shaw hanging out with you guys? Who's showing up at 5 a.m.?
The dad session. I do not show up at that. I'll be perfectly clear.
Yeah.
That is
Gary's got kids, but he's got some sort of.
I did a couple times, and I was like, okay, I'm set. I'm set showing up here.
Yeah, he comes in once. Yeah, he gets like once a quarter. He's good for a once a quarter.
Yeah.
Craig Kenny shows up. So Craig Kenny and Paul Trombley. Yeah, we still do 5 a.m. Admittedly, though, there are certain things that at 5 a.m. just don't happen too much. I blame it on shaking my house, right? But I will tell you, moving a heavy barbell at 5 a.m. takes a very special breed of crazy. Yeah, and those are the days I'm like, let's do dumbbells. Let's just do it. A dumbbell is so much more palatable at 5 a.m. than a loaded barbell.
But yeah, you guys you do it over Zoom, and that's really awesome and crazy to see all these years later. Let's talk about affiliates. What can affiliates expect the rest of this year, 2023? This will go out next week, so early November. What's going on in the affiliate world? What can they get excited about?
Yeah, so I'll let Austin obviously opine on this after I share some high level thoughts. But I think as an organization, Don has come in and really made us focus. And there's no secret. There's a lot of opportunity within the CrossFit space. And if you try and take advantage of all of it, you could get caught doing a lot of it average, right? And not be excellent. So Don has really made us narrow our focus under the philosophy, if you're focusing on more than 3 to 4 things, you're focusing on nothing. And so what we've done over the past few weeks is really nailed down our planning process. And so we've identified what our target condition is for 2030, like what's the ideal state for this organization, this ecosystem, and where we want to go, all the way down to Q4. Q4 was, for lack of a better way of saying it, kind of business as usual, because we had a lot of the things already in flight prior to Don's arrival. But you'll see kind of the way that he approaches business manifested in 2023. And so the end of this year, what we'll deliver as an affiliate org, we're working on a very clear value proposition. And so we understand the value prop internally. Externally, there may be different views on what it means to be a CrossFit affiliate. What we want to do is really nail that down and be quick, clear, and concise in our delivery, and on the same page as everyone that speaks about affiliation, whether you're a red shirt, whether you're on the affiliate team, or whether you're an affiliate gym owner, and you understand what value there is in being, a CrossFit affiliate. And it's easy to say that. It's very difficult to do. And so we've got a cross-functional group at HQ that's really trying to identify the key aspects of being an affiliate owner. And the good news is there's a lot of value. And so we're just trying to hamper that down. And I think another impact that Don has had is we've tried to really over-index on providing resources and products that reinforce value. And so that certainly has been the case over the last 2 years with the introduction of the APN, the playbook, CAP, and roundtables. And
best hour of their day. Yeah,
best hour of their day in the APN. I mean, in all seriousness, leveraging really strong partners in the ecosystem to help drive our relationship forward. Best hour is one of the best examples of that. It's and I'll
some say the best. Some say the
best. Gary. Yeah, the best. Yeah. Top tile. And so we're shifting that philosophy. It's community, it's brand, then the tools and resources come next, and in that order. And so we're going to focus on really amplifying the brand. Really, really amplifying the brand, storytelling. What's happening between the 4 walls of the affiliates? What are those transformational stories that make people understand that they should walk through those doors of that gym? And that's done through understanding our values internally, all the way to brand campaign. And so we're working on putting a lot of assets together that tell that story that we can deploy to the community and affiliate owners can repurpose and share on their distribution channels. And so if I had to summarize it, what you'll see is, us clearly defining our value prop to the world, and also really trying to start telling our story at a very, very high level. We know CrossFit has been really good at storytelling. How do we get back to that so people understand what it is and how powerful it can be in impacting somebody's life? And then from a resource or product standpoint, we've often heard, and this was one of the motivators for us reaching out to the Best Hour team, people really need help in the business part of running an affiliate. and how can we, as subject matter experts, knowing that we've got a significant amount of affiliate owners that have done it really well for a long time, how can we leverage those best practices, package that up, and deliver it to people so they can optimize and run their gym more efficiently? And so what we're focusing now is pre-operational. So if you're a gym and you're a prospective owner, how do you come into our funnel and really get support needed in order to open your doors and feel like you can ramp up quickly and run a successful operation? And so there will be a product that will come to market that will be a manifestation of that commitment. And then, and I know I'm going on a ramble here, but there's a reason why. 2023, you'll see that shift from pre-operational to post-operational support. So how do we continue to help you navigate the obstacles and milestones needed in business to run a successful gym?
Yeah, you said a lot of great stuff there. And I know for the affiliates, there's the playbook. And then Austin, you also sent out a bunch of assets. I forget what it was called. What was that called?
Oh, the content kit.
Yeah.
Content kit. Yeah, that was phenomenal. I know a lot of affiliates were checking that out. But, two things you said, Gary. I think affiliates, I get frustrated because they're like, this is all we get. Like, what am I paying for? I'm like, mother effort, how expensive a franchise is. Like, you're paying $3,000 a year. Like, you get to use the name CrossFit. And part of that, and now you are getting a whole lot more support. But hey, you signed up for this. This is what you should be expecting, right? But they, I want more. And it's like, I hear you, but at the same time, you're being a little unreasonable. But I think part of it is one of the things you said, like those, you don't see Globo gyms posting videos of a dude in a wheelchair hitting bar muscle ups, right? You don't see Globo gyms posting pictures and videos of people that have lost hundreds of pounds, that have gotten, that have cured type 2 diabetes. So I think, they have to lean in as well. Affiliates, like, you have to seek that out. And just because it's not happening in your walls, like if you, or in your country even, grab those videos, grab those pictures, because you can do that. And you need to show the people in your, general vicinity, the 10-mile radius of people that come to your box, like, hey, it doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair. Hey, it doesn't matter if you're overweight. We can help you. And I think that's one of the tremendous assets that CrossFit puts out there that just your standard affiliate is not taking advantage of. Like, you don't need that's the beauty of CrossFit. You don't need 500, 1,000. You need 100 amazing members. And it should be a wide, variety of demographic out there. And then something else you said, I don't know if you guys, I don't want to speak on your behalf for like the staff of HQ, but I can tell you from an affiliate perspective, ever since the games, when Don was announced as the CEO, there's been a different energy in the CrossFit world. And I think part of it is like, Don is your dude at the box that like is busting your balls while you're working out, right? Like, I mean, within 3
that's
minutes
a good way to say it.
Yeah. I mean, he was on the Savon podcast and he did a great job. Like, he was on our show, obviously. And like, he was with Stefan Roche on the CrossFit show. So, he's a great dude. And I think part of it is like, oh, this dude's one of us.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, there's just been a different, we feel it, and we not only feel it, we hear it. Affiliates are excited, to be a part of the community, and those that had left for whatever their reason, like, are slowly coming back. Yeah. And maybe not even slowly, like they're coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'll let Austin speak to the impact that it's had on the ground. But I can tell you at HQ, the way I would describe Don is he's a leader, and I know that sounds really simple. I've worked for some pretty impressive organizations, depending on who you ask.
Did you work directly under Phil Knight? Were you directly under him?
No, Phil, no, Elon. Elon.
Oh, I thought you were at Nike?
No, I was at Tesla. I was at Lyft. During
Shane was Shane at Nike? Was it Shane?
Shane was at Nike, yeah.
But you worked directly under Elon?
I did for a period of time. Yeah, it was.
Are you going to Mars? Are you going to go to Mars?
I am not. I don't think Elon's has my name on a seat. After
First, I'm thinking CrossFit Mars. CrossFit
Yeah.
Mars. You go out there, Gary.
All right.
That may help me lift heavier. Actually,
That's right. I don't know what gravity's like on Mars.
Yeah, but he's probably been the most impressive leader. Well, he's been the most impressive leader that I've ever worked for, and that doesn't mean it's been easy, and it's because he's really challenging us, and he's asking a lot of really, really good questions, but stands up and demands excellence from us, which in turn will be what this community needs. And so I'm really, really optimistic and bullish on our future. And you'll see. So I know that the feeling is there. You'll see that come to life in 2023. He's got two focus areas, and what's so great about Don is he's so intense on being simple but executing at a very, very high level that you will see the results in these two areas. And the first is grow the amount of CrossFitters, and the second is support affiliates. Those are the two areas that we're going to focus on in 2023. And if your initiatives and your products that you bring to the table don't ladder up to those two goals, they're not even going to be considered. And that's what a leader does. And so for us, it's really, really exciting to be able to use that filter when we're trying to prioritize and do the work needed in order to prepare for 2023. And then the last thing I'll say real quick is you said it's a in not so many words, it's a partnership. If we're going to grow the amount of CrossFitters, we need our affiliate owners to partner with us and retain those members, right? And so the experience inside the box, the product on the floor, the way that they operate their business, you can't leak those members, right? And so it's a really, really strong partnership needed for us to flow those members through your doors, but you to retain them at a very, very high level.
Yeah, and I love what you said about leadership too. Like a good leader shouldn't be easy, right? It should be challenging, and a lot of what you said we really preached to our affiliates was like go narrow and deep. Like you go so. I think you didn't say it, but something like if you go for everything, you get nothing.
Exactly.
I love that focus. So Austin, tell me more about what's going on in the U.S.
Yeah, I think I think with that said, if you were to say specifically for affiliates expectations for the rest of this year and then carrying it to 2023 is the feeling of, okay, I have people there for me that I'm communicating with, that are communicating with me, and a lot of this is building that foundational relationship that a lot of our affiliates either have not had or have sort of drifted away for whatever reason. Whether we have a lot of gym owners, and this, Jason, from what you do day to day, is that have either changed management, changed owners. A lot, over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of affiliates that have restructured how they do their business. And in turn, a lot of that has led to the communication between the affiliates and CrossFit it's been a challenge, right? Because, who is receiving that communication? How are we communicating? So we're, a lot, certainly in the US, we're updating almost 20 to 25 affiliates, just basic accounts a week of who do we communicate with, which is, doesn't sound super sexy, but man, it's really powerful. So, when that stuff that we're working on, like Gary spoke about, when we actually want to tell people about it, engage, have two-way conversation, it can actually happen. And I can tell you from some of the conversations that I've had is just a lot of it is bringing awareness to what a relationship with CrossFit actually means. And that's, if you were to say, what does success look like by the end of this year is, with every affiliate that we have the opportunity to reach to is we start to reframe what that means, where, it's no longer just, and as an affiliate owner myself, you is like, hey, I'm an affiliate, I get to use the name and that's it, right? Like I'll chest bump and high five you, but that's really it. Well, no, we want to, if you want to engage, we want that opportunity with our field staff, and little things of,
field staff are things like the reps, like Andrew Charlesworth, Jen Green, Kevin Ogar.
Yeah. So, in the States, we have our 6 account reps from, broken across.
Who are
6
the other
regions.
3? I don't want to leave them out.
Yeah. So Chase Ingram down in the South Central, right? Kevin Ogar in the mountain region, the area that most people forget exists in the United States if you're on the coast, because there's so many states.
Rep. Yeah, he's my
That's
rep.
right. And then Katie Hogan on the west.
Katie, yeah.
And then Danielle Williams in the Northeast.
Danielle, she's awesome. Yeah, she was at the games.
Yeah,
she was awesome.
That's right.
And Andrew Charles did a great job. He bugs me every day, by the way, to get on Instagram Live with him to talk about affiliate stuff. And I did yesterday, and
that's awesome.
He's like I love Andrew. You guys know Andrew. He's an awesome person. Yeah,
he's like you, just taller.
He is me. Yeah, we are like, if they were to remake Twins, it would be me and Andrew. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's right. And it, obviously speaking in the U.S., but internationally has a very similar structure, but as opposed to, it's more country and language specific, but the purpose obviously is the same, is to communicate and connect, and that is very important culturally and language wise. Where in the United States, it's a lot of it is, it's the volume and making sure that we are able to have that touch. So
there was a ton of them at that after party. There was like 1 million, I want to say. It was close to 1 million, right?
What's that?
Chappie was introducing each one of them. Yeah, remember he was introducing each one of them. I was like, how many are there? But I guess it's language.
There's quite a bit. I mean, if you really look at the ecosystem for affiliates, we're in 155 countries, and
awesome.
And it's pretty wild to think about, and representing those individual countries. Obviously, we've got some that kind of ladder up to a larger territory, depending on how many affiliates they have. But we want people to feel like they're supported, and we want people to feel like they can get a hold of a person quickly and troubleshoot and provide feedback and direction, best practices, all of those things, and they've done that.
I'm trying to learn Hebrew so I can help the boxes in Israel. Just so you guys know.
Yeah. We should go out there. It's a really strong. It's a strong community, man. Puerto Rico's awesome. Yeah.
Fern and I are going to Puerto Rico next year, and then every time I see the level 1s in Israel, I'm like, I should request one of those, Austin, in the HRD,
awesome.
But I don't want to travel for 24 hours right now. But keep going, Austin. I know it's hard for you to get a word in with me and Gary.
Oh no! I mean, listen. I think that really nails what our goal is, and to that end, I think it is important to note that when you look at our affiliate ecosystem, specifically in the United States, the average tenure of our affiliate is 6.5 years, right? And the reason why I think that's important, one, I think we forget to as affiliate owners, as a community, to pat ourselves on the back of, that's an amazing accomplishment of owning a small business. You far surpassed, it's almost double the average of any other small business. But with that comes, looking at when we started our gyms to where we are, the landscape has changed, right? Where it's different. I mean, and we look at the challenges that the last 2 years have brought, just in running a business in general, and then from there, just having a more mature business. That's really what, and when we engage with the affiliates, that's our goal, is to be there for them to progress. No different than members. And I'll always bring this back of, when you think, what do our affiliates do best? Well, they take care of their members, right? And taking care of a member that's been there for 5+ years is a lot harder than taking care of a brand new member. And ironically enough, we often think the opposite in the beginning. A new member is challenging. But the reality is the new member is easy because they don't know anything, really. Mm-hmm. CrossFit's new. They're willing to learn, right? You're going to tell them to push their knees out, lift their chest up, send their butt back and down, keep their heels down, and their mind's going to be blown.
I know you've said this. You used to say to level 1s, it's like the glory days of CrossFit. Like your first 6 months, you're PRing every day,
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, every day something new. You're coming to tears because you went upside down for the first time in your life. So the new member it's very systematic, and it's predictable. Great. But then getting someone better after 5, 6, 7 years, you have to be a really good coach, invested, thoughtful, progressive. And it's no different with how we take care of our affiliates. And that's why I love, and to the point of having the opportunity to support, because it's just like our gyms. And also you could have 10, 5-year, 6-year members, and how they get better and the route they go down might look a little different, right? No different than our affiliates. And some you'll never have to worry about too, right? They're going to show up on time. They're going to leave on time. They're going to love you. But they're super low maintenance. Then there's going to be others that are going to show up 30 minutes before class. They're going to come into your office. They're going to ask you 100 questions, and then they're going to forget where to put their hands on the bar when it's a snatch. And they've been coming for 7 years, right? And every affiliate owner knows that member, and we love them. And our affiliate community is the same, and that's why I think it's so beautiful. And that's really what our field staff and our team, as we grow, and the tools that we create and develop, that we test, all of that really comes down to is how do we get those affiliates better, knowing that it's not always going to be perfect because of the nature of the existence of all of our gyms. So that's a long answer, but it's something that does excite me. But when our affiliates start to think, well, what's the relationship between CrossFit and us? It's no different than what's your relationship with your members and you, and it's very similar in that sense.
Yeah, and I think that's an important place for people, the affiliate owners, to think. Like, you have members that get upset, just like you might get upset at times, and you have members that are excited. And it's like, we're all working towards making our business better. And sometimes there's a gap between what I know and what I'm trying to do and what the members know I'm trying to do. And I think that was kind of where the frustration lied for a couple of years with CrossFit, right? Where it's like, what's going on? And I think what you guys are doing really well these days is communicating that. And that's all, just like we tell our clients, like, hey, talk to your members and communicate, and they'll be happy. And that's what you guys are doing. And now, like you said, Gary, it's like all this hard work now, like the glacier effect, you're seeing the tip of it, right? But now it's all going to come to fruition in 2023. Yeah. I'm excited about it. You said something about the 6.5 years, Austin. I think that's probably one of those statistics that, I forget the term, where it's like, it's basically wrong because of COVID. Like, I think the average CrossFit we probably would have had a higher number, like a longer term, but COVID wreaked havoc on, certain types of businesses. Gyms being one of them. So I bet you that number would be, over 7 years. We saw a lot of affiliates struggle during that time. Well, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited for 2023. I feel like you guys should come on every quarter or so and give us a little update. What I'm going to do after this, Gary, is chop this up to make you look bad and post it on social media. Okay?
Perfect.
So,
I love it. Love it.
He knows. He knows.
Just put up the part where I was like, Don's bad. It's hard.
I hate Don. Yeah. We'll clip that out. We'll clip that out, send it right to Don.
Good luck in 2023, everyone.
Anything else you want to say to affiliates, guys, before we wrap up? And they got a bunch of other calls today.
Yeah, the last thing I would say is Jason, thank you for what you do to support the community. In all seriousness, you guys have an incredible product, and it's driven from the right places, right? You're focused on making these affiliates continue to be able to do what they want to do, and that's support, transform lives, and we couldn't be happier to partner with you guys. So I want to take the opportunity to thank you, affiliate owners. Can't do this without you. You guys are the epicenter, the core of what we do, and so know that we're going to work tirelessly and incredibly hard to try and continue to support you guys. We won't get it right all the time, and we know you'll be vocal about that, and we'll use that to continue to get better, and just like you do in the gym. But thank you for all that you do.
Well, it's our pleasure. That is what we will clip, Gary. That is what we will clip. And
awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to go stretch out these biceps because Austin gave me rhabdo.
Nice.
I'm working with James this weekend, Austin. I got to think of a workout that I can beat him at. What's James Hobart's biggest weakness?
Ramen. So just go out to ramen the night before and you should beat them.
Yep. There we go. There we
Yeah.
go. But I think you're right about that. Well, guys, it's always great to catch up with you. Thank you so. And by the way, same to you guys. Gary, Austin, you guys came on board before Don, and it was clearly a nice shift in the right direction. Now Don at the helm is taking us, and I think CrossFit is still growing. Obviously internationally, like you experienced, but in the United States as well. And we haven't even hit, the tipping point yet. It's going to be big. And if you're an affiliate owner, it is the best time to be involved. So great stuff is coming. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks, Jason.
Thank you.